Okay, we're going to begin our interviews today with SRRODY. How long have you been in this classroom circumstance?
I've been in here since Valentine's Day 21 years ago.
Okay, and is there anything in particular you would like to say?
What would I like to say? Oh goodness. There's so much I want to say to you. Just about anything that would be of any significance to you is already on Heaven's Gate. I mean, this is kind of, in one sense, kind of silly. I would really strongly recommend, if you could find Heaven's Gate, the book or the website, go there, study it, read it. It would do you a lot of good. But maybe on a more personal note, there's a number of you out there that have probably been in contact with me personally. A number of the classmates that you'll be seeing on this tape. And remember how you felt when we were there. Remember, what it was like to work with us and to be with us. And you probably do better off trusting that rather than whatever information you run across on the TV. I'm sure there's going to be some stuff come out about this that can't give the perspective that you would have. So trust your own feeling rather than what you hear from someone else. I mean, that'd be my primary advice to give. The other thing, and I hope this is okay, but Pastor Murray, just because you've had a contact with someone from an extraterrestrial circumstance doesn't mean that they're any more trustworthy than someone who hasn't. I mean, the Mormons, supposedly, John Smith had the same sort of contact. And a space alien doesn't mean that he's from the kingdom of God. So you would do well to do some research as well in the same regard. I hope I'm not going overboard by naming these people, but Kenneth Copeland, Jen and Paul Crouch, Kenneth Copeland in particular, Ken and Gloria. For a while, we were really thought that you were picking up on next level information. You were being a good instrument, and then you go off into this thing. And this was some time ago. Go off into this thing where you're telling people that if they want to get wealthy, then they need to, give more money to people. They need to tithe more. I mean, come on. Where do you get this stuff? Your focus is wrong. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably stepping out of line here. Paul and Jen Crouch, you sat there and you pleaded to be the emissaries for the second coming when it arrived. You wanted to be the ones that had all the infrastructure all set up and ready to go and be prepared for his return. And did you know that we were in your prayer groups for a while? We actually did some of your accounting for a while. I mean, we were right there. And you've had ample opportunity. We even sent you a tape of the Beyond Human series. And what we got back in return was a warning about cults. I mean, T and Doe have tried and tried and tried to give all of you a shot that say you've been looking for this, but you're looking in all the wrong places. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on. I didn't mean to make such a... And I'm not singling just you out, but you were ones that we actually took an interest in for a while and then got disappointed. So hopefully this is not to criticize. This is hopefully to help from someone who has heard some of this stuff.
Okay, before we move on to QSTODY, one last question. How do you feel about what is ahead for us?
Oh, this is the happiest day of my life. I mean, I've been looking forward to this for so long. Some would probably sit here and, somebody on the other side of this camera watching this tape would probably say, "What's going on? You all must not have a life, or you're deluded, or you're brainwashed, or whatever the thinking might be." It's hard to tune into. From our perspective, from my perspective, this is Hudson. I mean, this is the answer to everything. These flesh vehicles. I mean, if you use the analogy of a car, people may keep their cars for a long time before they finally wear out and they clunk out and they die on them, and they go and get another car. Or some people, they say, well, here's a newer model, it's much nicer, and this one, doesn't quite perform the way I could, and I'd like to move into this new car. So get rid of the old one, get a new one. I mean, that's about all we're talking about. It's not a big deal. I'm talking too long, so I'll pass up. This isn't a troubling circumstance. Don't take it as that. It's just a gateway, just a doorway.
Okay, thank you.
The QSTODY. I guess you're next.
I'm not sure I'm going to follow that up.
Did you have anything particular you'd like to say?
Well, a few days ago, I've been in the class for 3 years, just about 3-4 days ago, and I don't know, I just feel like I've learned so much about the next level and Kingdom of God, Kingdom of Heaven, and on how best to cut all ties, attachments, and addictions to self and this world. And this is my prepared statement. It's very simple. And I don't know, I think my constant asking long before I entered the class was the key, the constant begging for the real facts, the real truth as how to get out of this world and grow beyond it, and rise above it, and leave it behind, both self and this world. And T and Do are my older members, and they're from the next level, and they've shown me by their example and the next level ways, behavior and conduct for a beginner in the next level. And I must never forget that my free will and options and choices allow me to either keep looking up to the next level and my older members, or older members' chain of mind, or to look away, and which results in separation and death, similar to cutting a leaf from a tree. And as long as I look to my older members in the next level, I will have unlimited growth. And I look greatly forward to being of unlimited service in my new kingdom level, where all creation originates, also in my new next level vehicle, or body, or suit of clothes, whatever you want to call it. And I want to thank my father, Do and T, and prove my loyalty, and for them helping me and nourishing my next level mind. And I feel the utmost respect and honor for the price they paid to endure, for my sake and my classmates' sakes, the entering into such a world as this one has become. And I don't think words basically would do it at all. I don't know. All I can say is, what's next, and that I love T and Do in the next level.
Just before we break, and
Yes.
I'm not. What QSTODY said sounds a lot better than what I said. We don't know what's going to happen after we leave. We don't know how much longer this civilization is even going to continue on, and so all this may be mute, but whatever time it's worth, that's why we're saying these things.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much. And I guess we'll move on to the next interviewees.
Thank you.
Is that it? Hi, YRSODY. We just, are interviewing a number of people just to see a number of people express some interest in saying something on camera to the people that might, get this tape. And we just wondered if, if you had anything particularly you wanted to say to people.
Well, I just want to let everyone know how lucky and happy I feel to be here, and let you know that what we're about to do is certainly nothing to think negatively about. We're all choosing of our own free will, go to the next level with T and Do. And they are certainly not what the media is going to paint them out to be. I never got to meet T in this incarnation in her human vehicle, but I can tell you that Do is the most special, dignified, unhuman, objective person that you can ever meet.
That's right.
He has helped us so much and put up with so much and never done anything that seemed even close to the way a human would respond. And I guess that's really all I want to say.
That sounded pretty good.
Okay. And WKNODY, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes. I think I feel just like YRSODY does. And if people would just know that we're not forced into this in any way, it's, you know, our own choosing to do it. And I'm really happy that I made this choice, because there was a lot of things kind of working against me not to, I'm sure. I mean, I know there was people in the world who thought that I had completely lost my marbles. They're not right. I couldn't have made a better choice, and I think I need to every day thank T and O on the next level for even letting me be here, because they don't need anybody. Just I could say a lot more too, but for some reason we always get kind of emotional when we start trying to convey our true feelings, because we know, I think, that the media is going to just whatever. They're not going to present it the way we would like to be presented. Anyway, I wish you could all be here. I wish you were as lucky and fortunate as we are, I guess.
And we're looking forward to meeting T real soon
Yes.
in her next level vehicle, and us in our next level vehicle.
And what YRSODY said about Do is just so right. I don't think any of us could be more happy.
Okay.
And that's all we got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have JNNODY and LVVODY with us today. LVVODY on the left, JNNODY on the right. How long have the two of you been in this classroom circumstance?
Well, JNNODY and I, both these vehicles ended up being a couple that were in Oregon in 1975, and we took these two vehicles. You've probably heard of the news media story in '75 about a bunch of people disappearing from Wallport, Oregon. Well, we're still here, and not for long. We're very happy and proud to have been members of TDDO's class, and couldn't be happier about what we're about to do. Doubt was never an issue. Certainly, at times, temptation to the vehicle or dumb influences might turn our heads for this reason or that, but there's always a deep down knowing that from the moment of seeing T and O that this is why I'm here, to take this vehicle and do this task. And always knew that I knew T and O from before this time, that there was strong recognition. And Jen, felt the same way. Do you want to talk a little bit?
The only thing I can think is that, you know, it seems like probably the ones who will be, the blame will be pointed at would be T and O, and we've always had free reign to come and go and believe or not believe since day one in the class, and in fact more times than not T and O would put effort into pushing anybody out of the class that didn't want to be here, and you know, wasn't just full steam ahead with what they knew the truth of the next level to be. And the funny thing is that, you know, we all came just human vehicles with minds entering those vehicles that had to take them over. And the crazy way that it works is that the more we put into practice the teachings and the behavior and the guidelines that TDDODY taught us, the proof of the truth that they held becomes more apparent, and behavior and discipline and ways of thinking that we had held, all of our human vehicles, became distasteful and something that was beneath us. So I have to say the same as LVVODY, that the last thing that I would have thought on September 13th, 1975 was that in a week I would find myself as part of a group and leaving behind my human life and starting on this. But there was just a knowing and a recognition. I think recognition is probably the better word, knowing that that TDDODY were someone that I had known and respected prior to this incarnation. So we're looking forward to this. We're happy and excited, and I can't really think of anything else.
Well, it's probably old programming, but can't help but think of in the Bible when Jesus says, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." He was saying, "I'm here. I'm sent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. I am the only way you can reach the next level of kingdom of heaven." And now it's the end of the age. It's the same thing happening again. TDDODY are the way and the truth and the only source of life. And without our connection to TDDODY, we have nothing. So Christians miss it when they read the Bible, and they just don't get it because the atmosphere is so filled with misinformation. But it's so plain and simple and real and true for us. And we know it. You may not know it, which is okay. We have no fear. We're proud and looking forward to what's ahead. And we believe all our classmates feel the same way. What else there to say?
Actually, you all couldn't really know it unless you had done what we had done and been through what we had been through. But I think you can trust. I guess you could trust our judgment in this.
That's probably enough.
That's good.
Okay, well, thank you
Thank
both
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have DSTODY with us. And DSTODY, how long have you been in this classroom circumstance?
Since March of '76, that'd be 21 years.
Okay, and so you met TDDODY at that time, or did you attend a meeting? How did you find out about them?
Well, that's a long story, but suffice to say that when I heard the information, I was overwhelmed. I individually searched for TDDODY because I didn't make a meeting. And after about a month, I found them, and I've been with them ever since. Boy, that opens up a big door. You've probably heard from everyone, quite a few people before me, and they've all expressed what the class has meant to them and what they've learned in the class. But it's hard to express in human language what we know or what we feel from what we've learned in the classroom, and I'm no exception. I'm having a very difficult time. And I'll try to express exactly what I feel. TDDODY were two individuals that were known to, or were said to have come from the next level with information for humans on how to get out of this kingdom level into their kingdom level. Overwhelmed was a word that I use to express what went on with my psychic, with my physical body, with everything, just hearing that. It's something that I felt very close to, very dear to, and very important, and it answered a lot of things that I was asking consciously and subconsciously, which were things like, what's next for me? What is life about? Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? Since I've been in the class, I've learned the answers to all of those. And my older members, TDDODY, which are members from the next level, have been the best teachers to give that information. And as a result of that, I'm here, and I'm very, very happy here. I don't know what I did to deserve to be here. And I'm embarrassed that I can't express, without getting emotional, how good I feel about what I'm doing and how good I feel about being here and being given this opportunity to go to the next level. Just the opportunity, is the gift, is just overwhelming, is the only word that I can come up with now.
Well, I guess that answers any other questions we would have asked you, DSTODY.
I didn't know that I was going to talk so much, but
no, that was very clear.
Like I said, we all feel very emotional about the gift that we've been given. And I'm the happiest person in the world.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, SLVODY, you've been in the classroom for a number of years now. Would you like to tell us about that?
Oh, yes, I joined with TDDODY in September 1st, 1975, after the meeting they held at La Cañada in the San Francisco Bay Area. And that's when I began at that time.
Okay. And is there anything in particular you'd like to say about your time in the classroom?
Well, when I knew that I'd be given the opportunity to speak to any who might be interested in what we might have to say, I tried to zero in on what I thought might be helpful to you. And as Joe mentioned, I'm one who left the class after having been in it for 6 years and returned into the world. From my experience both in and out of the classroom, and from my experience with the being cared for, nurtured, and guided by the next level, I feel I could recommend that if you recognize the next level information is true, now or in the future, the best thing you could do is to pursue it with every ounce of energy you have and continue to cling to the next level representative with your whole strength so that they can call you faithful. It's up to each individual to prove to the next level that the next level is all that they want and that there's nothing in the human kingdom to hold them here. It's up to us to show the next level, not for the next level to show us. The next level is very generous and fair, and they give each individual many chances. I think how the Bible said it was something like 70 times 7, which is a number representing a lot. And as long as you show with your sincerity that you want to clean the slate, they do it for you repeatedly. If you can convince them that you are sincere in what you want, that would be to serve them. And those who might have, I feel that those who might have recognized the next level, but turned away from it for one reason or another, anywhere, whether in a meeting or having been with us, they may need to plead repeatedly, like I did over a long period of time, to show that they're sincere. But if you knock on the door and continue asking to serve the next level, they won't forsake you. I'm so glad that T guided me back to go, and I'm so glad that we'll be joining T again in the next level very soon. I really feel, which was your last question, how do I feel about it? I feel very honored and very, very lucky that I wasn't stuck back in the world where I chose to make the mistake of going for a while.
All right, thank you. Okay, we have STRRODY and GLNODY with us now. How long have you been in this classroom circumstance, STRRODY?
I am fortunate enough to have been in the class for 21 years. I had a lot of lessons I needed to learn compared to some of the others. And I was one of the lucky ones to come in Los Angeles. When I heard TDDODY talk, I just couldn't deny it. I had to come, that's all there is to it.
And GLNODY?
Well, first off, I wanted to apologize for my appearance. I slept on my hair wrong last night. As you can see, it's just a mess. Anyway, I've been in the class also since 1975, and I've never left, and I never would leave. And this is just the greatest thing. It's the only thing there is.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you'd like to share about your experiences in the classroom, either one of you?
Well, I just think I wanted to try to express that in the same way that everybody in the world isn't 32 years old, their souls and spirits are different ages. And just like the person who's in his doctoral degree studying quantum mechanics or something, he can't explain to the second grader what he's learned and what he's doing. But the second grader can say, well, I'm learning addition and subtraction this week. And the older student can say, oh, I kind of remember back when I was doing that. But the second grader, there's no way you can tune into what college level students. So, there is no way for us to explain to the people who are probably watching this tape what's going on. They're not going to understand, but we understand that.
Well, they're like me. They can try their very, very best, and I'm sure that that will be good enough to the next level. Just do the very best you can. That's all they expect you to do. And we do have a book out that they can learn all the things from. That he was very, very, that GLNODY has been very, very prominent in helping to put that book out on the computer. That's where he is all the time, in front of the computer. And
well, I'd just like to clarify that basically the whole book was written by our older member Doe, and I did some work on the computer to put it together, but it's mostly T and Doe. And I was very glad to have an opportunity to work on it.
Okay.
Both of us were very lucky and fortunate to be able to be with T and Doe when T was in body here on this earth. Is that correct?
That's very correct. And there's just no way of describing how great it's been, how much we're looking forward to what's ahead for us now, because it's just what we've been working for all these years. It's just the answer to all of our prayers. And
I couldn't have had a better life than I've had these 21 years. And if it was good here, I know it's going to be twice as good when I get up there. And we're looking forward to it. And it's been fun all the way. It'll be more fun going.
I did want to recommend on our website, we have a picture of what we feel like a member of the next level might look like. Because the next level isn't just physical. They do have bodies, even though their physical characteristics are different than what are here. But we don't know if it's entirely accurate, but we feel like because of the way Doe helped bring that picture about and that he feels so good about it, that it must be very close to what we're looking forward to being in our next level bodies.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we have ANLODY and DMMODY with us now, and if I remember correctly, you both came in May of 1976 after you knew that T had announced the harvest was closed. Is that true?
That was true in my case. I remember when I came in, the group that gave the meeting that I attended kept trying to tell me to go away. and I wouldn't get out of their Chrysler, so I kind of stayed in. I kind of got in here by default. I didn't really meet T until almost 2 months after I came in.
In this vehicle?
In this vehicle.
That's about the same thing that happened here. In fact, OLLODY, you were one of the ones that were in Portland, Maine, where I met you all. I never even attended a meeting. I saw a poster at the Plymouth State College when I was leaving the dark room one day, and said, this is something I got to do, and just all of a sudden a light went off in my body. And I searched for 3 days and went to the University of New Hampshire looking for you all, and then I went to Portland, Maine, and that's when I found everybody, and I never attended a meeting, and the meetings closed out, and from there we went to Wyoming, and I saw T and Doe, and all of a sudden I just said, wow, there they are, and I hadn't seen so long.
I didn't know if it would be appropriate if I did a little explaining of my name, since part of, because my name I got from my older member. I originally had the name of Omega, and because when we first joined the class, from the very beginning, you try to separate yourself from the vehicle, and so you take another name so you're not being called by what the vehicle was called. My first name was Omega, and then I switched it to N because Omega seemed a little too highfalutin. But when we got the ODY names, then I became ANLODY. But I spent a few years from like 1988 to 1994 away from the class. I spent it because I felt that I'd been taking the class for granted, and if I was put out in a world circumstance, then I would grow to appreciate it. When I had more, it was kind of a silly gamble because the class could have left, but they did it, and I was able to come back in. And at that time, my older member changed my name from ANLODY to ANLODY, because anneal is a word for a process used to strengthen steel. And so I was really glad that they hadn't left before I came back.
DMMODY, did you want to say anything about your return to the class?
The same kind of process happened to me. I left in approximately latter part of 1981 after being in the class about 6 years approximately, and I was overcome thinking, wanting to see the vehicle's family and things like that, and didn't leave a note or anything because I knew who my real family was. But I just had a feeling I needed to go back out into the world, per se, to see what it was like and to see what might be there. But I knew in my heart I'd always reconnect and always be back. And I didn't know how it was going to transpire, but it just seems like I had instructions to leave at the time. I didn't understand at the time, and I'm just so happy to be back. I was rescued not long ago.
Well, we were all happy to see you come back. We know what a struggle it was being out there. But I think I can speak for everyone else in the class that we've been especially impressed with DMMODY's positive attitude and willingness to help with everything that needed to happen. And ANLODY, too.
Well, I, for one, am very much aware of the limitations now of this human vehicle that I have, and I'm anxious to be of more service to the next level without it. And so,
you'll be happy just to get the suit of clothes off and put on a brand new, fresh set with, you know, new vibrations and be in a new atmosphere, and just so nice and clean. This place has just become so corrupt, ungodly, and polluted, and just totally something that is so far beneath the next level that it's for TDDODY to endure what they've endured for 22 years. It's just unimaginable they'd go through that for us.
Okay, well, we appreciate your time, the both of you, unless there's something more you wanted to say.
Probably could write a few books, but don't have time for that. We'll leave in the next couple days.
Just thank you, TDDODY.
Yeah, just thank you, TDDODY, and for everything you've done.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have BRNODY and SMMODY with us now. And how long have the two of you been in this classroom? I guess we can take BRNODY first.
Okay, I've been in the classroom since January of '76. I was very fortunate to be able to spend some time with TDDODY before I came into the class. And I had a brief period of about 6 years that I was on a special task outside of the class because of having the vehicle that I am wearing and learning how to be completely independent with this vehicle and in a circumstance outside the class. And I think the thing that I would like to say about that is that I learned the value so much of what this class teaches and who I was and who my teachers are, that during that 6 years while I was outside of the class, I followed every procedure and instruction in the little apartment circumstance that I had, and every one of them proved more valuable to me than you can imagine. And that's what I'd really like to say. And then when I was able to rejoin the class, of course, that was a great, joyous day for me.
Okay. SMMODY?
Well, I'd like to let people know that out there that this is the only thing that I can do. And when I came in '76 January, I hadn't met TDDODY before then, but I heard about them. And when I heard about them, I knew that they were what I was looking for, and I had been searching for years and years for why was I even here? What was I doing here? And then I met TDDODY, and I knew that they were my older members. And I had to come with them because I knew that this is what I had to do. They're all there is, and this place is just like a hologram. It's a training ground for individuals that come from the next level to inherit another vehicle, a more refined vehicle, and that's what my task is, to work on my control and my restraint and learn the ways of the next level. And my teachers are here to teach me that, and I'm thankful that they came here to the city's place to do that.
So you feel like your mind knew them before you took this vehicle, is that right?
Well, I knew TDDODY right away when I saw them.
You recognized
I knew when I heard their words. When I heard what they had to say, it was there. They were the answer. And there's no other answers here. There's no human here that can give you anything that TDDODY. They cannot give you anything. These humans here do not know how to get to the next level. They need a representative. They need someone to lead them out of here.
Is there anything more you'd like to say, BRNODY?
Well, yes, I'd like to say, when you ask about knowing TDDODY, when I met TDDODY, I knew who TDDODY were. I had no doubt. I didn't believe who they were. I didn't believe they might be. I knew. And I knew that I had had a past association with them, and I knew that I had a task to do to take over the vehicle and gain control of it and learn next level ways, and the whole thing is about service to the next level. And I had no doubt, and I'm very happy, and this is a very joyous time for the class to be able to be returning home.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we have PRSODY with us now, and we understand that you have something you'd like to say.
Yes, I do. I prepared a little statement for any in the world who might be interested in why I'm ready to go to the next level. And I hope that this will explain what it means to me. First of all, I consider myself extremely fortunate to have been chosen for this class and to have been in the keeping and care of 2 older members from the next level for the past 22 years. In 1975, I received a statement entitled Human Individual Metamorphosis, and even before I finished reading the message, I knew I was hearing my Lord, my shepherd's voice. After meeting TDDODY the first time, I instinctively knew who they were and where they came from. There was no doubt. It's like a knowing inside that you can't deny. The information that they brought us about the next level and their ways and conduct were not human ways, and it became more clearly evident the more I was with them that I wanted to become like them. Their consistent caring and conduct was evidence to me that they were from a world I wanted to be a part of. Over the years, that desire has never changed. Now the time has come for us to leave this world and to return to the level above human as new beginners. As new beginners in the next level. By dropping these bodies, we will receive the inheritance we have been promised of eternal life in a physical next level body to be in service to the Chief of Chiefs. It is my choice to lay down my borrowed physical body to prove to the next level my love and the trust I have in my older members for what they have shown me as their example of what I can become. My thoughts in these last hours are only of joy and wonder at the thought of going home to my older members and being in T's house at last.
Thank you. Okay, we have MLLODY with us now, and MLLODY, would you like to tell us how long you've been in the classroom and something about that experience?
Oh, well, sure. I've been in the classroom since April or May of 1975. I guess it's almost 22 years. And it's been the best 22 years I could have ever experienced. There were a couple questions that I wanted to address specifically, or try to. I hope that that I can pull enough from my older members' mind that my answers to those questions will be appropriate. There were a couple things that I suspected there might be individuals out there who would like to ask us if they had the chance. And one of those questions I thought people might want to ask is, how can you, when you, so many of you have so many capabilities and talents, when you could have done so much in the world, choose to throw all that away and go off with some cult and just lose your life? Okay, so in response to that, for one thing, you have to consider what we as individuals wanted to become. I think everyone in this class wanted something more than the human world had to offer. They were seeking some type of goodness, some type of rightness that they did not feel in this world. So that's one thing. You have to consider what we wanted.
to us, we weren't throwing away anything that was of any value to us. The other thing that you may not realize, that if you truly have some goodness in you, I think you will come to realize, and that is that the idea that you can become something in this world and really make a difference is an illusion. Anyone who seeks to make a real change in this world, to go out and do something, is going to eventually come up to the realization that the underpinnings of this world are so corrupt that you really cannot succeed unless you're willing to compromise what you know in your heart isn't really right. You're going to be faced with that inside you, you're going to have to give up something that was of value in order to make a difference in the world. So you really can't accomplish that. And hopefully, if that is the path you've taken, where you're trying to make a difference, that when you come up to that point where you have to make a lesser decision, that you'll realize that you'll take the option of failure and go do some soul seeking and ask, why is this happening? Is there really a God? What did he have in mind for me? Is there something more? And as a result of asking those questions, you come to the realization that there is a higher evolutionary level above human that you can attain to and go after, and that you do not have to be satisfied with what's in this world. Now, the second question that I thought people might want to ask, and that is, do we really hate our mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers? Do we really feel that way? And I think one thing you have to realize, that each of us, in order to succeed at this task, has to know that we are the next level mind inside this vehicle. We have to totally identify as a child of the next level, see ourselves as part of that family, and know that that's who we are, that everything that was the vehicle is behind us and it isn't us. The attachments that each of these vehicles had were very real. For each of us, there were things that we cared about, there were individuals that the vehicle respected and loved and cared for very much. And in making the decision that we made to do this, we know that we broke hearts, we know that we hurt people, and we don't take that lightly. We didn't want to hurt anyone. Unfortunately, it's the individuals that these vehicles cared for the most that are actually the greatest threat to us. And as a next level mind with an allegiance to an older member and wanting to succeed at this task, we had to be very aware that influences would take our vulnerabilities, those things that we cared about, and use them against us. They would take the programming in the vehicle, and if they could, they would make us look backwards and forget where we were going. And that happened to a lot of our classmates. I mean, we're sorry to say that there are many that were with us that chose to give up an eternity of service with their Creator, closeness, and an opportunity to be to reach the fullest potential that their Creator imagined for them, and they gave it up for a few months or years of closeness to another human. And we prayed for the strength that we not do the same thing. We wanted to reach that potential. We wanted to know what our Creator had hoped that we might be, and through our older members, we've gained strength and discipline, and we've learned a lot. And in doing that, we had to recognize that programming, those attachments, we had to hate the things that will pull us back and be our enemies. And so we do hate the things that would pull us backwards because we don't want to fail. We wanted to succeed. We wanted to be close to our Creator. We wanted to become what we could become. And this may not be something that any of you can recognize at this point, but the love that an older member has for a younger member is a type of love that a human cannot experience. There's a selflessness and a purity that goes beyond anything humans feel for each other. It's not a love that's based on satisfying mutual needs, which is really what almost all human relationships are. They're satisfying some mutual addiction. In a relationship with an older member, it's based on a shared desire to grow and serve the older members that created them and to please them. And I could wish for nothing more than that you may someday experience that as well. That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have JWNODY with us, and we understand that you have something you'd like to share.
Well, yes, kind of. Well, it's going to be a bit extemporaneous because I've been working on a lot of things the last few days. And I've only had about 22 years to figure out what I was going to say here. But I'm going to make this a little less serious than some because I have written several papers that are in the Heaven's Gate book that express a little bit more what's close to my heart. But this is for our clients. And you may ask, well, who are our clients? Well, as a, quote, monastery, we've had a little business that we called Higher Source, from which we earned our income so we could consume while we were on this planet. And we always were self-supporting, which a lot of entities that were in our position might not be. But we would like those individuals that we work with to remember how they felt about us, what kind of work we did for them, and to try not to be influenced by what the media might say. Because we suspect, knowing the track record of the media, that it might not be all too favorable or objective. So you've had a unique opportunity to work with us directly, and there have been more than one client who has suspected that there was a little something unusual about us. And one particular individual came up to us one day and said something like, I'm halfway expecting one of these days that you're going to come through the door and say something like, the big guy upstairs sent us, to work with you. And we kind of sat on our hands and held our tongue at the time because we were trying to be a little bit restrained in our identity so that we could earn some sticks, as we call them. But to that individual, I'd like to say at this time that God did have a message for you, but it was a bit premature when you asked. And we'd like to let you know that He's had an eye on you. And we want to let you know that you might need to get someone else to finish up your website right now. And that we might see you all again, and then we might not. But we hope that you remember us as we were, and not how other people are going to try and tell you that we are. And one last thing we'd like to say is 39 to beam up. Thank you.
Okay, we have NRRODY and CHKODY with us now. NRRODY on the left, CHKODY on the right.
No, that's NRRODY, and I'm CHKODY.
And that's NRRODY on the left and CHKODY on the right. In case you're confused by the humor, we're trying to be light.
Yes.
Yes. We know that both of you have a lot to say about your experiences with TDDODY since you took these vehicles, and we're just going to kind of let it go as whatever direction you decide to take it. So, NRRODY, would you like to go first?
CHKODY asked me to go first because she was nervous, and I'm really nervous. But I want to say that NRRODY is of sound mind, and although what's inhabiting this vehicle is not, I am inhabiting the vehicle. And I'm really glad that I'm going to be losing this vehicle, shedding it of my own volition, because I'm really tired of this world and what it has become. I feel no bitterness. I feel extreme gratitude and thankfulness to my older members, TDDODY, who in can you talk for a second?
Sure. Well, for me, I just wish people could understand how it was instant recognition for me when I met TDDODY in Walport over 21 years ago, and there was never a doubt in my mind. And I know that for some, I may have caused some suffering, or this choice that I made may have caused some suffering, because the only suffering really is caused by individuals accepting the misunderstanding and the misinformation that's out there about an individual choosing to become a member of the Kingdom of Heaven. And TDDODY are definitely members of the Kingdom of Heaven. They have shown through their example and everything that they've done that they are not of this world. They do not have mammalian behavior. They do not react the same way we do to things. They have a higher standard, and it's been a joyful experience to me to be here and to have been with them. And I wish I could express the gratitude I have towards all the effort and the patience that they've given me and my classmates. And I know that's where NRRODY gets choked up too, and I could get choked up, but I just wish that people out there could understand how much we feel and know this is real. This is not a fantasy. We may be giving up these vehicles, but we knew we were going to give up these vehicles anyway because we didn't really want them. We know what the vehicles are in the next level are not like these. They're not reproducing, they're not mammalian, however your brain can understand that. And we're going to a world that does not live the same way they do in the human kingdom. But of course, Heaven's Gate and the website and the book can explain that a lot better than I can. But that was the main thing I wanted people to know, how much joy I have felt, and the only separation that ever has been between me or anyone else has been their disbelief. And if only you could have believed even that far. I know I didn't have to believe. I knew when I saw TDDODY.
Me too. The moment I saw them, I just, at first I think the vehicle was frightened, but the mind that was coming into this vehicle recognized them, and beyond a shadow of a doubt, I knew what I had to do. And I know that to the ones in the world who might recognize this vehicle, they may think they know me, but I am not this vehicle, and I know that that could be very confusing. But even this vehicle that has learned from the mind that has occupied it for the last 21 and plus years doesn't like it here anymore. And I know that because there isn't the conflict that used to be there, where the vehicle wanted to do one thing or feel one thing and the mind wanted to do something opposite. The vehicle itself has learned how corrupt and polluted. I know that all these words have been said before, but it's true. It's just a painful experience to recognize that hideousness has become the norm, and that people accept it out of ignorance because they've been programmed, and a lot of it is not their fault, but it is their choice. Each person has a choice to make, and I've made mine, and I'm very happy and that I was given the opportunity to have this choice. And I feel very, very excited about this time, and that we'll finally be able to leave as a class together. We've all worked very hard, and we've all tried to prove to our older members that we're worthy of the effort and sacrifice they made.
Thank you. And that's all we really have to say.
Thank you. Okay, we have GLDODY and SMMODY with us now, and I believe SMMODY, you had something you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes. Just wanted to say again, I'm SNGODY, and I have one of those vehicles that's not as comfortable in front of the camera, but I feel like it's worth it to share a few thoughts before we leave. And I just wanted to say that I've been with the class for or approximately 21 years. And when I came in the 70s, it was a time of change, and this vehicle liked change and was into a lot of areas, social action, education, politics, religion, women's lib, whatever at the time. But as it became more and more involved in those areas, it realized that it needed to make changes individually, that I needed to be changing myself rather than being concerned about other individuals, and spent more time then looking into the spiritual area. And I checked out the Christian-based religions and Eastern religions, and attended a Unitarian church, and still it was always puzzling because there just wasn't that the answer enough to satisfy you, and it was like there was always that missing piece.
And the vehicle was in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time when members came and gave a meeting there at the library. And I heard this information, and it was like, wow, there's the missing pieces. And it was like a relief, because it finally made sense that it was a real place, and that it would take some training to fit in with tasks there. It'd be like an astronaut training program. And I thought, who wouldn't want to overcome the world? And with TNDO's help, we've been able to do that. I feel like I want to share that the package that I deal with has had to deal with being judgmental, critical, impatient, perhaps too internal, which causes a separation, and like food too much, too stubborn, and that's just a few of the things that I've dealt with. But I feel like my teachers have been incredibly patient with me and with my classmates, and but I was very aware that unless I was constantly asking, that they could not help me, because it is not their way to push anything on a student. And I want to thank TNDO on the next level for allowing me to be here and to shortly enter the literal kingdom of heaven. And it's just so exciting, because it is a real place, and I wish more humans knew that instead of the illusion that they currently are believing in. After you've been with someone for 21 years, you really know them and had a chance to really observe them firsthand. And I think the reason that I know that TNDO are my older members particularly is because of their behavior over that period of time. They've been painfully honest with us in sharing their mistakes, their joys, their thoughts, their actions, and they're constantly checking if they're off track in teaching us. And certainly no ego problems like a lot of gurus in the world, and certainly none of the excesses of a David Koresh, for instance. And I feel like over and over they're constantly asking, is their older member speaking through them? And they're just very careful to try not to speak with their mind. I feel like each one of us has been respected and cherished, yet in our growth, yet the door has always been open for us to leave, and they would help us financially or in any way that they can. I feel like TNDO have been just tremendous examples for us, that they just want to be good servants for the next level. And I'm just proud to be their student, and I wanted to share that. And I feel like the garden has been a good garden, and it was created, for us to learn these lessons and to be able to evolve into that next kingdom level. But the garden has deteriorated, as you're probably all aware, and it is the end of the age. And for us, it's just a time where there's just nothing interesting here. There's not enough to keep us. And we've been preparing all this time for a real, literal kingdom of God, and we're ready to move into that and to start tasks there. And we're really excited about it and happy, and we hope that you'll be happy for us.
Okay, GLNODY, is there something you'd like to pass on or say about your time in the classroom?
I hope this all comes across right, because this vehicle isn't much of a communicator either, and especially it's not comfortable in front of the camera. But I did want to share that I've been in the class now almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years May 14th, and I can still remember, and this is clear as day, when the first time TDDODY started handing me these posters and statements out of this envelope that he had, and I knew, my soul knew, that it had, what I had been searching for, for a long time, and I knew it even before I read it, and I knew it was the most important thing in my life. And sure enough, when I got those statements, I just couldn't stop reading, because I knew. And ever since I've been in the class, there's never been a doubt, for a moment, that this is where I am, and that Doe is my older member. And I wish I had the opportunity to meet T, but I know that I soon will, very shortly, and I can't wait. And I just want to take this opportunity to say how grateful and thankful and that I am to be in this class, how blessed I am to be in this class. And to thank my older member Doe and his older member T for coming here and offering us the chance to overcome this world and give us the opportunity to enter the true kingdom of God, the evolutionary level above human, and to become a next level member. And I can't believe, I just couldn't even begin to comprehend how difficult that task must have been and has been. And I just want to make it known to everybody how grateful and thankful I am. And I don't think words can express it.
Okay. Is that all?
I think so. We just really appreciate that Doe's put up with 38 of us.
Okay. Well, thank you.
We have 3 of our classmates here, JMMODY, ALLODY, DVVODY, and they all felt like they'd like to say something to the world before we leave. ALLODY, something you'd like to say?
Okay, I'll go first. I know you've already heard us talk a lot about restraint, and that's because every member of the next level is restrained. Some, of course, are more restrained than others, because they're older and they've had a longer chance to grow taller. And naturally, our older members have encouraged us to grow as tall as we possibly could while we were here, because in the heavens we'll all be wearing midget-sized vehicles, and if we can't see over the spaceship console, we're going to miss out on a lot of spectacular scenery. Now, you may have noticed that there are some in this class who have taken greater advantage of this opportunity than others, but don't let appearances deceive you. Green is not our favorite color, just mine. And I've worked long and hard to overcome that, without much luck, as you can see. I'm holding that. But I do feel very lucky. We all do. And that is what I wanted to talk to you about. We saw Hook recently on TV, and in the movie, Tinkerbell warns Peter Pan that every time someone stops believing in little people like her, a little person dies. When this vehicle was young, it read a book about elves and fairies and the like, and that book said the same thing. So I held on to that belief, even as an adult vehicle. In fact, the vehicle had plans to go to Ireland someday to track down the truth about the little people. Then one day in Oregon, in 1975, an article showed up in the campus paper. The headline said, "That little green man may be your cousin." The article described a Florida professor's presentation about the Aztec, New Mexico crash and the bodies found inside. Autopsies showed the beings had brains capable of superhuman intelligence. It said that they appeared to have no digestive or reproductive organs. I showed the article to JNNODY, this was before we joined the class, and we thought, wow, this is going to be a big story. This is going to be big news. But nothing came of it. There was a total blackout on it. Even when we called the paper, they had no more information. Some months later, CHKODY and this vehicle's cousin showed up for an unexpected visit. Downtown we saw a poster that said, UFOs, why they are here, who they have come for, when they will leave. It talked about reps from the evolutionary level above human. We went to Walport, Oregon on September 14, 1975, and we heard T and Doe speak. A few days later, we were all headed for training as part of the Next Levels Away team. Now this vehicle knew It didn't fit in this world, but after I met my older members, saw them through these eyes, heard them through these ears, I knew where I belonged. I recognized them. There was something familiar about them. The little people I had been looking for had come to take me home. You can think this is all fantasy, and that's your choice. There are a lot of illusions in this world, and it's hard to sift out the truth. But this is no illusion, and some of you will know it after we go. A few years ago, we received instructions to write a movie about the next level. T knew that just as truths about the kingdom of heaven could be delivered to humans through fairy tales, so could these truths be accepted more easily by humans in the form of science fiction. This is a copy of the cover for the last version of that script effort. Maybe one of you could hold this. The name of the movie was Beyond Human: Return of the Next Level. Sorry, not working. Is that okay? Recently, the script received serious attention for conversion into a TV series by a major network. But at the last minute, they got cold feet and decided it was too far-fetched. An individual who helped us with this project recently left the class with hopes of seeing it through. Even if he succeeds, we must warn you that our storyline contains both fact and fiction, so do not trust it as a historical record. We will be very surprised if any of the hardcore truths it contains about the next level actually receive public airing anyhow. If you want information about us, and lower forces don't interfere, you can find it at our site on the internet, www.heavensgate.com. One last thing. If you don't believe in us, we won't die, though we may appear dead to you. If you do believe in us, and the ones we have worked so hard to represent, our older members, T and O, who are from the next level, then you can be sure the next level is watching. Because by your belief, you allow them a chance to save the part of you that may become a child in our Father's house too, at a later time, if that is where you want to be. Thank you for listening, and good luck.
Okay. And JMMODY, how long have you been in the class?
I've been in the class since 1975. I guess it's about a little over 21 years. And there's not much I really have to say, except I just wanted the people who are watching this to know that this is something that I have been thinking about, and this is something I'm doing on my own free will, and nobody is really, forcing me to do this. It's something that I know deep inside is right for me, and I feel like that's important. The next level gives everybody their rights. They're very rights conscious, and they give them the freedom to do whatever they want. And I feel this is part of the freedom that they have given us, and the choice they have given us. And I am very excited about going. I can hardly wait, and I'm ready to go.
DVVODY, how long have you been in the class?
I've been in the class, will be 6 months Sunday. I think I may be the last one up to this point to have come to be with T and O at this time. I'm very happy to be here.
Do you have any thoughts about this, what's next for us?
The only thoughts that I have is the preparation that I've made to separate from the vehicle. Leave it all behind. There's nothing here for me. I want to look forward, keep my eye on T and O. That's my path.
Anything further?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity to say to you that T and O, I recognized them. I mean, it just seemed like when I first met them, I knew that what they had to say was true. It wasn't something they said, it was something that I knew inside me. I felt it was like I had known the material they were talking about, and it was like a recognition. And they have so much care for all of us. they think more of me than I have thought of myself for all these years, and it's what has kept me going. There's nobody on this planet that has cared for me more than they have, and all my love goes to them. And I'm happy. I just hope that I can be with them forever.
Ditto. Okay, we have DRRODY and TDDODY with us now. And TDDODY, I believe you've got a statement you'd like to make?
I have a couple of paragraphs I just wanted to read. It's just things that I wrote down. And I have a few words about why I'm here with the class, about to take this final step. And the main thing is that there's nothing, I'm no longer satisfied or fulfilled by any human pursuit, indulgence, or activity. I've been down many different paths. I've been on both the top and bottom of this world. I've tried it all, and there's nothing on this planet that is worthwhile or of any interest to me. The information given to me by my teachers, T and DO, is the only thing that makes any sense to me. T and DO have helped me learn how to be more restrained and refined in my actions, speech, and thoughts. They've taught me the true meaning of kindness, goodness, compassion, and caring. They've done this not by lecturing to me, but by their example. They've always been perfect role models, never wavering, wanting only to be of service to the kingdom of heaven, the evolutionary level above human. I know that I have the freedom to do anything I choose. I've made the conscious choice to willfully exit this vehicle or body that I'm wearing. I'm fully aware that to stay here, to reject the choice to go to the next level, to separate from the kingdom of God, is suicide. I've only one regret. I regret the time wasted outside this classroom, walking down paths that were dead ends, missing the opportunity to be here with T and DO. I can't deny what I've come to know through them, and I know I'd be a fool to stay here. For me, this is the only logical next step, and it's simply time to move on. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, TDDODY. DRRODY?
Well,
What would you like to say?
I didn't have a chance to prepare anything, but I do have a couple things I'd like to say. And first, you're probably wondering, what does DRRODY mean? It's kind of a funny name. Well, DRRODY is a name that was given to me by my older members, and simply it was a name meaning durable for a period of time that I was sent on a task with a number of others, being out in the world separate from the class, and being able to survive that experience and get back to the class. They chose that name for me, and I appreciate it very much. I would like to say that first I want to express my deepest appreciation to my older members for coming here and going through all these years, all the trials and tests of taking a class on this experience and teaching us well the ways to the next level, what we needed to know to perform and function in that level. I feel like, although I've tried to be a good member like any others, the lessons that we get and the influences that we're subjected to once we become part of the class have caused me to stumble and fall along the road many times, but my older members have always been there to lend me a helping hand and pick me up, brush me off, and help me see and understand things with so much depth and with such a compassion and caring that he's always been there for me. It just, for me, the true love of the next level, the way that can be expressed more than anything else, is just seeing my older members coming here, having sacrificed everything they've had in the next level, their bodies, their existence, to come here and train a class of little children to know the ways of the next level and to become like them and graduate into that level if we so desired. Words can't really express what I'm feeling, but I just feel so fortunate and so happy and so humble to be a part of that. And I so look forward to the time when we could be back together with T very shortly, and rejoining her and being all together in the next level and experiencing in our new vehicles and our new bodies all the things and the lessons and the growth opportunities and the fun ways we have in the next level. I feel like I want to also express that my older members have shown me more than anything else by their example of what the next level is all about. Seeing their care and concern for us, their wisdom, their understanding, their knowledge of what was right and what wasn't right, what was occurring on the planet at times, their vitality, their energy, their control of their vehicles, their focus, everything about them has shown me that they're clearly from the next level, and that's where I want to go. Most importantly, when T left and went back to the next level, and Do continued and did everything he could by his efforts and his thirst and his desire to pull in T's mind and all the way up through T up to God, the Chief of Chiefs, the real true God of everything that exists. By his desperate desire and effort to do that, I've seen T work through him and the mind of the next level come through. I'm so grateful to be here, and I so long for the day when we will be back with T and be part of a class again under their guidance. There's so many more things I can go and just express, but I feel, like I said, words can't describe it. One thing that does come to mind is when we leave, I know the media will treat this, unless we leave in a craft and no vehicles, no bodies are left behind, as some sort of weird, bizarre cult, a suicide cult, whatever you might want to call it. But look deeper than the words. Look for what we've taught people and the message we've left behind. Because we know that it's difficult to understand, but the next level requires a commitment, a kind of final ingredient of leaving the body and giving it up until you can actually graduate into the next level. It's difficult to know that, but for those that we've left behind, we're going on to something greater and better, and that we hope that someday you will understand this and you might join us. And we want to thank all my classmates who've helped me along the way, my teachers, T, and everyone in the next level who's seen us through this. Thank you.
I'd just like to also say, if I could, I really appreciate all that dough was done, and I just want to also say thank you to T for giving us dough. I mean, I don't know where any of us would be without him.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, we have STMODY and SNGODY with us, and I don't know which one of you would like to go first, so I guess we can start with SNGODY, if that's all right. And SNGODY, how long have you been in this classroom circumstance?
Well, I'm very happy to say that next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, 29th March, will be 22 years since I first met Tando. And I just can't say how happy I am to be here and have this chance to talk to you all. I hope that what I say will be something that will be pleasing to Tando, because they're just not from this world. They're from, well, they've come here to bring what you all call Holy Spirit. They brought us mind that's real and made us into something real when we were just not very real, not very worth anything. But I know that you all can get the impression that there's some kind of charismatic people that may have had a strong influence on a lot of weak-minded people. Well, there are a few people out there that we've worked with over the years that might be able to push through that misconception. But I just want to say that this particular vehicle that I'm using, I know it had a deposit in it because from the time it was just a little kid, it looked around and observed what it was seeing around it, and it felt like something was missing. Now, it grew up in a situation that was as perfect as a little kid could ask for anywhere in this world. Everything was just great, but it felt like there was nothing significant to what it saw the adults doing and the lives it saw going on around it. So it just, this vehicle just waited, and then it took off and looked as hard as it could to find something worth living for. And it looked a long time, and it became very hardened and cynical, and I started to say sarcastic, and I guess I might as well say sarcastic because it was. But what I meant was skeptical. Because when I sat down the first time with TDDODY and had this vehicle there, it was as skeptical as anything could be. And it didn't feel like TDDODY were anything special, except TDDODY said that they had a formula of how to get out of the human kingdom to a level above human. And I said to myself, that's what I want. That's what I've been looking for. I don't care if this is, you know, maybe they're crazy for all I know, but I don't have any choice but to go for it because I've been on this planet for 31 years and there's nothing here for me. And they were saying to the person I was with that they felt the last final ingredient would be for the vehicles to be dead, be, you know, what humans call dead. And so I said to myself, great, you know, if that's what it takes, that's better than being around here with absolutely nothing to do. So I don't feel there was any way that anybody could say that I was influenced by somebody's strong personality. The second time I sat with TDDODY, I felt absolutely these people, there was no lie in them, that there was truth and goodness beyond anything I'd ever seen. They weren't selling anything to me because I didn't even talk to them. I didn't say a word through both of these little meetings. They didn't say a word to me. They were simply talking to the person I was with, and I was just observing and listening. And shortly after that, I found myself in a campground, sitting around a fire. TDDODY were talking, trying to teach us a little bit. And then I remembered, I had been here with this person before. I knew that it was the same person that was Jesus. Nobody ever told me that. It just came to me as clear as a bell. And I also want to say that I've been in this classroom with a bunch of classmates. And each one of them is so wonderful. You have no idea. These guys are just the bravest, strongest, most pure people. We put up with so many demons of this planet. You have no idea how the demons of this planet are because you haven't been in a position of trying to fight them. They'd be pretty good to you when you're working with them. When you decide you don't want them around, you have no idea how mean they are. So I just want everyone to know that everybody that's ever even been in this classroom, even if they had to leave for some reason and aren't with us now, I really thank each one of them for being wonderful and all the help that each one has given. And TDDODY, my classmates have been telling you a lot of things about them, and so I don't want to take any more time and let my partner talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I couldn't agree more with what she said. I tried hard to think of something to say that might have some meaning, might help you, certainly not for our sakes. We know what we're doing and we feel very happy about it. I guess I first heard about this about 22 years ago. This vehicle was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and read an article, I don't know if it was Time or Newsweek, some magazine, about how these space-age messiahs were going to leave on a UFO and take everybody to heaven from this small town, Oregon, and people were leaving their families, you know, leaving their possessions and hitting the road. And I remember this particular vehicle that I'm taking over here was from New York. It grew up cynical, skeptical, thought it seen every scam. It checked out Eastern religion, Western religion, pop psychology, thought it knew how everything worked. And so it was like wasn't, you know, real susceptible to this, but it said, oh, well, I'll go to a meeting because if Jesus really did come again, I remember saying, well, I'd sure go with him in a minute. So a meeting came a few weeks later to Santa Fe, and I went to the meeting, and I sat there just dumbfounded. Instead of asking the real brilliant, you know, cynical questions and sarcasm that this vehicle enjoyed doing, it just sat there listening. Everybody else got done asking questions. The only thing I remember saying is, gee, where do we go next? So I knew right away that everything made sense and this was it. It was just that simple. And I know that I didn't arrive at that intellectually. It was a knowing. I don't know how to explain it, but I knew it. I'd been there before. Everything since then's borne that out. The proof to me, every group I ever was connected with that this vehicle ever checked out in the world, the people is what turned it off. Either the guru or the master, the preacher, whatever, and the people that went there to the group. It would see them and it'd say, "This isn't what I'm looking for. This isn't my family." And then, so hard not to get choked up when you talk about this. But I met the people that are here. I met my teachers, T&O, and I knew that I knew all of them, and that they were my family. And I've been happy ever since. I mean, it's been tough. Anybody who's been on this, like she said, you get hit with everything but the kitchen sink, trying to turn you away. But it's been wonderful. It's been very exciting. And we know that the spin doctors, the people that make a profession of debunking everybody and putting down everybody are going to attack what we're doing, just like they attacked, the Solar Temple and Waco and what have you. They're going to say, well, these people were crazy, they were mesmerized, they were whatever. And we know it isn't true, but how can you know that? And the only thing I can say is, to us, this step of laying down these human bodies that we borrowed for this task, it's just as simple. Like, we watch a lot of Star Trek, a lot of Star Wars. It's just, to us, it's just like going on a holodeck. We've been on a holodeck. We've been in a astronaut training program. We figured out a day equals 1,000 years, played it out mathematically. It's roughly 30 minutes. We've been training on a holodeck for 30 minutes. Now it's time to stop. The game's over. It's time to put into practice what we've learned. So we take off the virtual reality helmet. We take off the vehicle that we've used for this task. We just set it aside, go back out of the holodeck to reality, to be with the other members on the craft in the heavens. It's, call it another dimension, call it another reality. Who knows? We don't know what it is. We were kept blind, ignorant here, which is kind of the state with these vehicles. Probably the best we can do. But it's that simple. I mean, we're all looking forward to it. If you could just see it that way and just see how simple this is to us, because we don't identify as these bodies. We know they're not us. I don't know if that helps you any, but if you could just get into our headspace a little bit and just see how happy we are, and how strong will we are about doing this and committed to this. I mean, I'm nothing without my older members, T&O, and I just can't wait to get up there with them. I don't have much else to say with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have STLODY with us today, who's been our primary computer tech, and of course he's dabbled in a lot of different areas, and I think he'd like to talk about that right now.
I've been with this classroom for, I think, 22 years now. I first met T&O in 1975, saw their picture in a paper, and I knew that at that time, when I read about the information that they were presenting and their position and who they were and what they were offering, that was meant for me. I had suspected for some time that I was here for some type of task, not knowing what it was. But of course, after learning what T&O had to offer and the requirements that I was going to have to meet, I realized that I was part of the away team, that T&O were and are my older members who I look to for everything, and that following the information that they brought was what I had to do. I could not do anything else. And I am also one of the students in the classroom who, of my own choice, chose to leave the classroom for a period of time. 3.5 years to be exact, from mid-1988 through 1991. And during that time, I tried to do the best I could, acting as a human, and not a day went by that I didn't think about who I was and who my older members were and where I belonged, which is here with the away team and TNDO. And I know that I needed that experience to get rid of the things that I needed to get rid of and to decide what I really wanted. And of course I'm here talking about it. I can't find adequate words to describe TNDO. Many of you watching this are probably wondering what these people are like. You may have seen the videotape of DO, read the information. Just the goodness that is inside of them and their dedication to the ways and procedures of the next level are beyond description. And I'm honored to be a part of this. I'm a student. I'm a member of the away team. I know that. And I hope to be a young member of the next level. There are certainly no guarantees as to that effect, but I know that the next step that we're taking is the right step for me, and I'm very grateful for it. And in a way, I am very thankful that we're not staying here for the recycling process on this planet. There are several avenues of growth that a human may take. The point I'm making is an individual may seek higher knowledge through religion or science or whatever avenue, and again, it doesn't really matter. What matters is when a rep is present in the civilization that an individual has a gift of recognition and follows that deposit of knowledge towards that older member, towards that representative, and becomes a full recipient of what it has to offer. And for me, for my vehicle, had a strong interest in UFOs and what's going on with these abductions and space aliens and cattle mutilations and all this type of thing. And of course, through the years, that information is very difficult to obtain accurately with the human kingdom. It's covered up probably deeper than any other subject. And now we understand why more clearly than ever before, is because in order for the negative forces to control this world in the way they do, the truth has to be covered up and covered with layers of misinformation and deception for even this world's systems, governments, economic systems to survive as they do. And I don't mean to put down the human kingdom. It's a fantastic tool for growth, and I'm very thankful that I've been given a human vehicle to use as a tool in this overcoming. But the point I'm trying to make is that try to take the time to look at the information that TNDO have brought that has been presented to you. We know the media is going to do a hatchet job on us in the same way they do a hatchet job on practically every subject. If the humans were told the truth about what goes on this planet, they'd be shocked and wouldn't continue in their 8-to-5 slavery and ignorance. And I think I probably covered that point well enough. Again, these here are the most incredible individuals that I have had the honor to spend time with. And to see the ways that they have changed and what they've become with the help of TNDO is a statement in itself. And I wish that I could share with you that perspective if I've seen all these grow through those years. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have TRSODY with us, and I believe that you chose the name TRSODY because you want to be reminded of your thirst for next level knowledge. Is that correct?
That's right. I know my vehicle's, or this vehicle that I'm wearing is, pretty nervous, pretty scared, not really sure what I'm going to say. I guess, what I wanted to maybe address more was how I feel about this step that I'm taking. And some may say, well, boy, it's quite a irreversible step. And I just wanted to say that I'm familiar with irreversible steps. And tell you what, I don't know if you remember Doe talking about that some students had proven to him that they desired to have their vehicles neutered. And I'm one of those students that did that. And I can't tell you how free that has made me feel. I've been here long enough from the time I had that operation to know the freedom that it offers me. And I'm just so thankful for that opportunity. And in all reality, I can't see that this next step that I'm prepared to take and looking forward to taking is anything more than a clinical operation. And having seen the benefit that the neutering has had for my consciousness, for my ability to grow and be closer to my older member, that I can't see any other way but to fully expect that laying down this vehicle is going to be anything but great for me. And you know, individuals think of mind control or whatever, and I was in the class for 5 or 6 years, and then through my own ignorance and being attacked by influences, felt like, you know, well, maybe I wasn't developed enough, maybe I wasn't a strong enough student to continue. Well, being out of the world proved to me, being out of the class, excuse me, proved to me that this was the only thing for me. And for the number of years I was out there, I would have been deprogrammed easily being out there in the world, because you're bombarded so steadily by everything of the world. And I know that the one thing I may have gained being out of the class is commitment. And I just want to express my commitment to my older member and T, and I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to be back in the class and to take this next step. And also just want to say how wonderful all of my classmates are, and what a great inspiration they were for me to find out that there was still a class going on after the number of years that I'd been out. And that the fact that they stuck through it all, it's so hard, you have to be totally on top of things to even be in the class. So it's not like you're captured here. If you're not doing your homework and pleasing the next level, you're not going to be here. And I guess that's all I want to say, and bye.
Thank you. Okay, we have WNDODY with us, and WNDODY, I believe you were one of the first ones to become part of the class in this vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, and I'd like to really tell everyone out there that there is no greater gift that has been given to the world than what we and the next level have brought to you, and it's there for you if you seek it out. We all have our own expressions on what this has meant to us, and I probably, can't say it, of course, any better than anyone has already said it. We all feel very emotional at this time, and would really like to thank our older members, the next level, and for everything that they have given to us. We feel so, we are an away team. We came down here to do a task, and what they have given to us to take back, to take on new vehicles that are viable in that next level. You have to realize that because we are becoming in service with that next level, how much more after graduating here and learning what we have learned from them in order to be a part of the service of the next level means that for future human existence, how much of service that we can be to you by going through what we have gone through. If you can just forget the negative, think of the positive, because like everyone has expressed, the media, the lower forces will take this and try to do something else with it. But know that we are happy in what we have done, what we have grown to. We are going home so that we can be of service to future civilizations for all of you. And this is what we strive for. And my last words, I would like to say that to my older members and all my classmates, of how much I truly appreciate all their help, their caring, their trust, their understanding and patience with all the growth that we've had to go through. And there's no words again to express that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have ALXODY and BRNODY with us, and I guess ALXODY is going to wing it first. Well, I've tried to think long and hard about what I'm going to say, and I know there's probably not a lot of time. So what I was trying to say briefly. I know that I was sent here for a task, and I'm not talking about this vehicle. I know that this vehicle was picked and prepped with my assistance and with TNDOs, and it was given a deposit. And that deposit in that vehicle sought and searched for the truth. And then my mind came in and started an incarnation back in 1975 in October when I first heard this information about TNDO. And once I heard that information, it answered all my questions. And I could say all the things that my classmates on this tape have said before me because I couldn't agree more. But I just want to say that I don't identify with this flesh vehicle, this flesh body. And those of you who see this tape, I'm not sure who you will be, but some of you may have worked with me. I may have met you when we have been out in the world in service to the next level doing various tasks. And like JNNODY said, I wanted to tell you who we were and what we were about, and now I can tell you. And I know that we're at the end, and I look very, very forward to this next major step of ours where we're going to be shedding these creatures, these primitive creatures that we have used for our lesson ground, and that we're going to be moving on to the next evolutionary level above human and taking on our brand new vehicles that we're going to be using in the next level. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, I just want to say how thankful I am to Do and T for helping me and taking me under their wing and showing me the ways of the next level. And all my classmates have been so great to me and all the problems I've caused. And I'm just very thankful for that, and I'm trying not to be too serious or emotional here. And I'd also like to say that this is what we're about to do of my own volition, and I know that is what I want to do, and that no matter what happens, that decision is entirely up to me, and that's the way the next level is. It's my choice to do what I feel right and led to do, and I'm planning on following my older member no matter where he goes or what it is. That is what I want to do, and that's what I have to do. And I'm very thankful for the design of that. And that's all.
I also want to thank TNDO and the members of the next level who have been extremely, more than fair, more than patient with many of us, including myself, who have genetic packages that tend to be so difficult to try and control. And I'm just very, very thankful that this end of the part of the task is over. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have LVVODY and TLODY with us, and I guess TLODY has something he would like to say.
Well, I'd just like to say that I'm about to take an act that probably this world would consider the most awful thing that any person could do. And I can understand their point of view because their life is banked on the physical body and the desires that that physical body has in it. And that's perfectly understandable from their point of view. However, in the 21 years that I have been in this classroom, I have learned to deny this physical body and gain strength of the next level mind, which is a much finer, different type of matter. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shed this husk. It's worthless. It's useless to me. just like a caterpillar, and the chrysalis is over with. He's a new creature. There's no point in sitting there going, oh my goodness, that chrysalis is, over there, and I'm, still attached to it. That's ridiculous. What I'm about to do is no different than that, not one iota. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this chrysalis down, and I'm going to emerge into another kingdom level that humans have no knowledge of. And they interpret along religious lines, which is basically misinformation. But the bottom line is that I am doing this of my own free will. I have chosen to do it. It's not something that somebody brainwashed me into, or convinced me of, or did a con job on. Something I have grown to know and to understand, and of my own will have chosen to do. And if anybody feels bad about that, that's their problem. It's my choice. Because of the kind of society that we have in this world, and especially in this Western country, you have a problem with they don't let you do what you want to do with your life. So we're choosing to do this. You'll see this tape after I have put this physical body down, and that's the way it is. So we have no choice about it. If for the record, if people want to know why we're choosing to do this, I think this planet has become a very, very hideous place. They take control of you from the cradle to the grave. You have no choices except when the next level offers you some choices. And most of the time, you're herded around like animals. You have no choices. What they put in front of you are your choices. I don't like what they put in front of me. I'm making the final choice here. The choice is out of their hands, what I'm going to do from here on. That's the way I'd like to leave it. Goodbye.
YRSODY. If you can see by the age of this container that I'm wearing that it's not a youngster. And I've been in this classroom for almost 22 years now. And the older member that Doe talked about in the initial tape, his older member, well, T and Doe are the older members to this classroom. Doe is my older member, and T is his older member. And so the chain goes up the command all the way to the Chief of Chiefs. But if it wasn't for our older member, we would be in the same boat that you're in, that we wouldn't know anything about the kingdom of God or what it's about. It's someplace that all religions talk about. It's someplace that you want to go. But through the course of misinformation, it's unfortunate that we were the ones who took the opportunity, left the world behind, and here we are. Now, I've known my older member before this journey, and I knew him 2,000 years ago. I was in his classroom then. It was a short classroom, and we didn't learn very much. It was an agonizing experience to have to then rattle around the human world for so many years before we eventually dropped these vehicles on the particular pursuit of the tasks that we were given. So we were told that we were going to come back again, which we've done this time. And I was in this container was in the human world to the extent that it was part of the quote establishment. And I could have left this class at any time, and we were always encouraged to do so if there was anything out there in the world that attracted us. But I didn't consider myself, someone that was foolish in that I was just jumping off the deep end and doing something without careful consideration. Because I had always checked it out thoroughly every step of the way, and it's always proved itself out. All I can say is that this is the most exciting time for us because this is the end of the class. This is everything that we've waited for. This is the end of the civilization that we talked about not only 2,000 years ago, but in prior times when we had association with members of the next level who came and tried to move up the civilization. We were all part of those classes also. So here we are. It's been a long 6,000 years, and the next level or the kingdom of God isn't something that you join and get to over a little 6 weeks course. It takes a long time, but it's prove it to them. They've never had anything to prove to us. It's always, well, if you seek us, then by learning the lessons, you will then know afterwards that the proof is in the pudding. So T&O, we owe everything to them. We're going to lay these vehicles down here shortly, and what we're doing is we're going home. We're going home to those individuals who sent us here to do this task, and this is the happiest and joyous thing that you can possibly imagine. We're going home. We've got a place to go to. Now you're going to find this old crummy vehicle in a bunk someplace that I'll be going. I'll probably be watching when you check it out and observe your responses and your reaction when you look at these vehicles. And they're all nothing but containers that we've used and borrowed for the short amount of time. So we have nothing but gratitude and joy and thankfulness to our older members for giving us this opportunity, and we're going to be able to help this human civilization for a much greater and taller perspective than you can possibly imagine. So with that, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll maybe be talking to you again. You never know.